Hey, welcome to the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute with your host, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest, Alan Bishop. Hey, this channel is all about home distilling and legal distilling. If you've got questions, reach out to us in the comments below, social media, or via bishopshomegrown@gmail.com. And don't forget to check out thealchemistcabinet.com. All right, guys, back again, as always, answering your questions here at the One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute. So, have two questions I'm going to address in this particular video, and again, rapid fire like it is when I do these from the tiny bedroom studio. Hey, thanks guys for supporting the channel. It means the world to me. If you guys would support my friends too, I'd greatly appreciate it. So be sure you to check out the Bar Cart Co-op with shows such as My Whiskey Den, Distiller's Talk with Christy Atkinson and myself, as well as Bourbon Turntable, the show about music and spirits as well. And hey, check out some of the still builders I'm good friends with. Check out Jason Wade Harrell, whether you're buying the Black Forest Edition pot still that he and I worked on, or you're buying a traditional setup from him. He makes great stuff over at 13 Stills. And of course, Wayne Herbert over at Ozark Stillworks, guys. He's making fantastic stuff and cool modular stuff that you are going to want to check out and put to use. I got a lot of process videos coming up with his equipment in the near future, so check it out. Anyway, so first question today is from the YouTube channel, One Piece at a Time Distilling Institute, obviously. So thanks for the amazing info as always. Do you have thoughts about blending / proofing down brandy with wine to give some more flavor of the fruit back into it? It's an interesting question. So I have not actually used wine to proof anything back down. Now I have made a lot of Peño de Charentes and what is it called when you do it with apples? I can't even think of it, but basically adding raw apple juice back into apple brandy, right? Almost kind of like an apple pie. Peño de Charentes is done with grapes. I did a lot of that at I did a batch of that at Copper and Kings. I've done a lot of it on a home level before, right? So basically what you're doing is you're making almost a fortified wine, but instead of using a fermented wine for flavor, you are actually using just the raw juice itself. So you have the pure flavor of that fruit matching the flavor of the brandy made from that fruit and taking the alcohol up to about 20%, maybe even higher sometimes, just depending on what you're trying to do, right? But drinking like a very, very strong table wine, kind of sweet, round, more of an aperitif or digestif sort of thing. That's something that I love very, very much. Pommeau, that's what it's called when you do it with apple. You take your finished apple brandy and you use that to fortify some unfermented apple juice, and I've done a lot of that. Now, as far as adding the wine just back to a little bit of brandy, maybe like proofing water or something of that nature, I've never personally done that, and I don't know how it would turn out, but it'd be fairly easy to use something like hooch, where, yes, I know I don't say that in a clear manner when I say it, so I'm being more clear with it today. You can figure out how much water it would take basically to drop your proof to where you wanted it. Now, if you add the wine in, obviously the alcohol there is going to affect that, and I'm not entirely sure how you'd figure out the total ABV with that wine percentage, but it'd get you on the right track anyways if you want to try that experiment. I think you'd be better off just with using the brandy itself. If you're real concerned you're not getting enough flavor, maybe make that brandy, do a doubling run on it, get your cuts off of it, and then macerate some fruit back into that brandy and then redistill it as a Geist is an option, or even pack the jar with the fruit of your tasting as opposed to that wine. But that's just me. I think that the brandy itself and the various fortified type liqueurs or cordials like the Pommeau or Peño de Charentes, those sort of things make me happy enough that I probably wouldn't play around with adding wine to a finished liquor to try to get some more flavor out of it. But listen, that's what this channel is all about. It's all about experimenting. That's what home distilling is all about. So give it a go and see what you end up with. You might end up with something great. You never know. So moving over to a question I saw on one of the various Facebook forums out there. Guys, I don't participate in a lot of the Facebook forums because they go one of two ways. There's either the guys who are all just 100% scientific, or there's the guys that are 100% thinking they are backwoods completely right, and that science didn't exist in the 1800s, etc., and grandpa didn't need this and grandpa didn't need that. Whatever floats your boat is fine by me, but there's a reason why a lot of people don't participate in these forums that could help out a lot of home distillers, and it's because there are usually a few assholes in those forums that keep us from wanting to throw in, right? I did it for a long time, and nowadays there's a couple forums I deal with. Rock Up Moonshiners is one of them. But I don't participate in a whole lot of them because just too many assholes involved, and let them fight it out how they want to. But the question was basically, what would be the advantage of a Lebesgue condenser versus a standard worm setup? So for those who don't know, a Lebesgue is it's basically a shell and tube. So it's not a Gatlin condenser with multiple tubes and a shell. It's a single tube with a shell around it with cooling water versus a traditional worm or serpentine coil, right? So really on most things, there's not an advantage to the Lebesgue over the worm. For most things that a lot of moonshine-oriented distillers are going to do, that worm is going to do exactly what they want to do and not cause them any problems. A Lebesgue, sometimes because most people do not make them with enough surface area, will not keep up with running a still properly. Now, do they have a place? They absolutely do. And I love Lebesgues when I'm doing reflux condensation, right? When I'm running a still for a little higher proof, you know, we've talked about it here on the channel many times, that 170 proof range where you've still got some flavor there, but it's lighter, it's more floral, it's more fruity, or even making, you know, close to neutral spirit for something like absinthe or gin for a base. For example, with the One Piece at a Time, 13 Stills, Jason Wade Harrell crossover still, the Black Forest edition that we worked on, it has a Lebesgue, specifically because I love using Lebesgues for those rectification runs. And the reason for it is because A, I don't need to be running fast because running reflux is going to slow things down. B, I don't want to be running fast because I need to be paying attention very specifically to the cuts I want to make because everything is being compressed, which means that your heads are going to come off faster, your hearts are going to come off faster, you're going to hold high proof on your hearts, and when it starts to drop proof, it's going to drop like a rock, guys. So you got to be watching it. That's why I like a Lebesgue for that. That is where they're advantageous. They're advantageous in situations where you are doing a lot of reflux or you are trying to raise your proof and your purity. They are perfect for that, and if you're into that, then you definitely, probably, in my opinion, want a Lebesgue. Nothing wrong with a worm. You can do the same thing on a worm. You just have to pay a little closer attention, and you run a better chance of smearing things on a worm there versus a Lebesgue at a 45-degree down, where everything just has that one path to go down, and it's off the still, and it's over, and it's done with. So, as always, guys, if you have questions, reach out to me, bishopshomegrown@gmail.com, YouTube comments below, social media, etc. Check out thealchemistcabinet.com. Love y'all. Have a great one.